Hey everyone, welcome back to your learning journey. Now this is the part 2 of this machine learning deployment. Now in the last video, we have actually built the model and saved the model in an external file, as well as we have saved the standard scaler. So we have just saved all those things in an external file, and the file that we have created is standardscaler.joblib and the final model.joblib. So these are the two files that we have created in our previous video. Now, if you have missed the first video, please check out the link in the description. Ensure that you go through that video and understand what exactly that we have done in the last video. So this video is the continuation of the previous part. So let's proceed ahead. Now in this part, so what we will be doing is we are going to build an Flask application, which is a Python Flask application. Now, Flask is a Python library which is used for creating the web application, and it's very simple to use, and that is what I'll be using it in this demonstration. Basically, the reason that I'm using this because most of you are aware of Python programming language and it's very simple to use, and using this you can create a front end and you can also write the logic inside the Python programming language itself. So here, as part of this app building, I have created a file that's called as app.py file. Now in this app.py file, so I have actually mentioned about how exactly it should work. So from Flask library, I'm going to import Flask, JSONify, request, and so on. And I'm importing my NumPy library, Pandas library, scikit-learn library, and from that scikit-learn, I'm going to import the joblib. Okay, and I'm importing the Flask. Now, first thing that we do is here inside this Flask application, I've created an object which is a Flask object and I'm calling it as app. And once I create that application object, the main crux, that is the core part which is responsible for generating the prediction, is my standard scaler and the classifier. So I'm loading both of those things with the help of this joblib.load function. Now with the help of this joblib.load function, I just have to mention where exactly the file is present. In our scenario, the file is present over here in the same folder where the app.py is present. Hence, I'm just mentioning my file name. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Now, once that is done, so next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to mention how does the app should work. Now, in the home page, I'm going to render the template from the index.html file. So at the start, I'm going to provide an index.html file. If I show you this index.html file, the best way to show you this is with the help of visualizing it. I'll just double click this index.html file so that you can understand. See, if I double click this index.html file, this is how my front-end HTML page would look like. It says machine learning model deployment demo, and it also gives me an command that says as enter your input of machine learning model separated by spaces. So whatever the inputs that this model is expecting, it is expecting where the values are separated by spaces. And once I've mentioned it, and if I click on the submit button, then the model will be executed and I'm going to generate the prediction. So let's see how it is going to work. So if I come back to this code, see, I have written /predict. So what I have mentioned is if I go inside this index.html, I've mentioned some logic. I'm saying that if I press on this submit button, then whatever the items or whatever the input that I have mentioned over there, so that is going to call my predict. Okay, that is going to initialize my predict page. Okay, that's what it says. So when it calls the predict with the method as post, now whatever the information that I'm getting it over there with the help of text input area, I'm going to separate it with the help of spaces because that is what I had given over there as the information for the user. Now if you want, you can also provide the highlight saying it as okay, hey, separate the value with the help of comma. Now you can do whatever you want as per your own requirement. If you want, you can also add your own validation as well. You can write the regular expression and check whether the user has entered the valid input or not, and then you can take back to the previous page. So you can do all sort of stuff. Okay, for now I'm keeping it simple I'm going to split the given input, and for those initial values that I would get, that is once the split is completed, I'm going to convert it into the floating point. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is whatever the standard scalar that I have loaded, I'm going to apply the transform on the new input data. So this is very important. We have to first apply the transformation. On that transform data, we will generate the prediction. So scalar.transform user input, and then we are going to generate the prediction. Now, if the prediction is 0, that means if the class is 0, then I'm sending the prediction as Setosa. And if the prediction is 1, then I'm setting the value of prediction of versicolor, else it is Virginica. Now, once this is done, I'm going to render the template, that is predict.html file. And for this predict.html file, I'm also going to send the value of prediction is whatever the output that I got earlier, I'm going to send it over here. Now, if you look into this predict.html file, so this is very interesting team. Here in this predict.html file, I have written a condition. Based on the prediction value, I'm going to display whether it is Setosa or whether it is versicolor or a Virginica. Now, depending on that class, I'm going to display the exact image which we have got it from the Wikipedia page. So that's a very simple application that we have built, guys. So using the machine learning model and the data transformation object that we have created in our Jupyter notebook, we have used those files and we are going to deploy it. Now that's what we have done. Now let's see how does this file would look like. That is, how does this overall Flask application would look like. I'm going to launch the terminal. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new environment, and I'm going to say conda create -- name, and I'll mention my name as mldeploy -demo, and I'm going to specify the Python version as 3.9. That's the version that I'm going to use right now. I'll press on Y, and this is going to load the necessary packages. And once it's loaded, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to install all the packages that is mentioned in this requirements.txt file. So before I install it, first I have to activate the new environment. So conda activate mldeploy -demo. Now once it is activated, so I'll just go ahead and read that file, pip install -r requirements.txt. So this will take some time in order to complete the necessary installation. Now once it's done, we will be good to get started. So by the time it loads, let's review the various packages that are required. We would require Certify, Click, Flask, Jinja, Joblib, NumPy, Panda, scikit-learn. So these are the various packages that has been listed down. Ensure that you install it and ensure that you have all the packages installed in order to avoid the issues whenever you are running the code. So in my scenario, the installation is complete. So what I'll do, the next thing is I'm just going to run the Flask application. I'll say Flask app run. So this is going to run my Flask application. Okay, so currently we are getting an error which says final model.model file is not present. Okay, let's fix it. So currently my model name is final model.joblib. Okay, that's the issue. So final model.joblib and standard scalar.joblib. Okay, now let me re-execute. So now we can see that there is an error from sklearn. We are getting an error. It looks like it's from the old version. I'm just going to remove it. Okay, I'm just going to re-execute the same. Okay, so this time we are getting a different error. So let me just fix it. Okay, I'm in the official documentation page of Flask. So it says if I want to run the application, it says Flask -app hello run. This is the expectation. So let me just do that. So in the same way, I'll say Flask -app. My Python script name is app itself, and I'll mention it as run. Okay, now it is running on the server 127.0.0.1:5000. I'll just copy that link and I'll paste it over here. See, it is taking me to my HTML page. Now in this HTML page, it is asking me to provide the input. I'll mention the input as 10, 20, 5 and 1. Okay, these are the inputs that I would mention, and remember to separate your inputs with the help of spaces. Now once that is done, I'll click on the submit button. Once I click on the submit button, my machine learning model is generating the prediction, and here in this scenario the prediction is Setosa. So what we were able to do is we were able to implement the second part, that is how we can deploy the machine learning model as a Flask application. So this is an important part. Now this is fine. We were able to move from the Jupyter notebook to a Flask application where I have a front end, and in the back end I have got the machine learning model and the users are able to see the output. Now the question is, how can you open my application? That means how can the outside world can open this machine learning application? Now that is a very interesting part, and we will look into that aspect in the next video, that is in the part 3. I hope you guys have learned some new thing in today's session. If you like it, so please feel free to share it with your friends, and if you want to share any feedback to me, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I look forward to seeing you in the next part where we will learn to deploy this machine learning model over the cloud. So I'll see you next time.